Let's go. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go. Let's go. Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the continent. This is the Power Series with yours truly, Samuel Adranyi, bringing you another episode of awesomeness when it comes to the Power Platform. In today's episode, we're going to finish the final part of building an end-to-end automated invoice processing system. We started last week. We set up the flow, we set the trigger, but there's a catch I'll share with you today. So, like you know it, before we get into it, let's go take our montage. When we're back, we'll get back into it. Awesome, we're back. The only show that demystifies the Power Platform to the barest minimum. Again, we're your Soli Samladranyi. Thank you so much. Couple of things to get out of the way, before I get started. I like to put some things out of the way so we get into the groove of things. Well, the first one is, you might notice today that if you are someone who used to watch me from Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and probably Telegram. All right. If you're someone who used to watch me on those channels, you'll notice that today, even though I'm live, the feed is not there. Right. That is because a couple of weeks ago I mentioned what happened with Restream. So Restream has upgraded their packages. That means for those of us that are using the free plan, we don't get to use or get to stream to multiple channels any longer until we upgrade to a paid subscription, about $19 or so per month, which I'm not ready to do for now. So using the free plan, we only allowed to stream to 2 channels. So until anything changes or until I decide to upgrade to a paid plan, I will be streaming to 2 channels, which is YouTube and LinkedIn. So these are the 2 major platforms that I get lots of views from any which ways. Even though Twitter used to have a couple of views, but YouTube and LinkedIn will be the 2 primary channels that the live streams would go on to, so that you can enjoy yourselves up until a period where I think I want to subscribe to being able to, stream to multiple channels. So then we're stuck with YouTube and LinkedIn. So be looking out for more of my streams coming on YouTube and LinkedIn only. Well, with that out of the way, I don't know if you can see, but yes, I am rocking the Power Series official t-shirt. Yes, I'm rocking the series t-shirt. Never mind, it's just a way to have fun. Yeah, so I'm just trying to, rebrand the show, make sure, we're having a lot of awesome time. So if you see me in town with it, just say hi. I might probably give you one. Anyways, let's get back into business. So last week, we did the first part of building an end-to-end automated system. And today, we're going to finish. We created a trigger, and today we're going to finish that trigger and do things. However, there is a catch. So you realize that last week when we did it, the trigger, even though the trigger was running, we're not getting the invoices. There was a reason to that, which I forgot to say or explain. So today I'll do that in today's session. So let's go straight into the you and me view so we can get things started. And just say hi anywhere you're watching us from, so that I can acknowledge you on the stream. And if you have any questions, just drop it in there. And after this, I'll probably pick a different series to do on the Power Platform. But if you have any specific questions or topics or clarifications you want me to do on the Power series, just drop it in the comment or just reach me at any of my social media handles, and I'll try to respond. I'll try to create a video or do a live session on that. So let's go into baby Chrome. And feel free to drop any questions if you have them, and I will try to answer that. So let's go to portal.office.com, which I like to open because I'm going to open up a couple of things that I'll be using. So last week we set up a shared mailbox, okay, or a group. Actually, it's a group mailbox. Hey, Dexter, finally, after 16,000 years, Dexter decides to join my stream. Big man, how are you doing? It's been a while. Dexter, don't be a stranger. Get in touch. All right. Hopefully, we'll do something awesome on the show. Thank you for joining, Dexter. Let's see if I can go to my. I think we're using. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we're using the Mystify text. So let's see. All right. So we're going to use the Mystify this. So last week we created a SharePoint list where we'll send the data. I think we created even a OneDrive folder where we wanted to store the files. So we'll go via. So I think we have test one. We have the invoice processing. I think this is it. So we can open it in a new tab here. So we created that entire process. Okay, we created the entire process. So here we have the SharePoint list that's going to have the data that we'll extract from. So let's open this up. And then I think we also had the OneDrive folder. So I'll go ahead and open this on another tab, and then we can see that that tab is actually empty. And then we can also open our Power Platform as well. So yeah, so we have the invoice processing folder here. And then, I have this two here, but I'm going to delete it. Delete. So that when we test it, you can see that it comes in. So for now, the folder is empty. There's nothing in here. The list is also empty. Okay. So let's go to our SharePoint, our Power Automate. And if you have any questions, just drop them. So so be using. And hopefully we have enough. Today we started on time, so we should have ample time to answer a lot of the questions. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's do this. Cool. So let's go ahead and do this. So remember, we created a solution for the project, right? So we're keeping everything in the solution so we can easily export the solution and put it into another environment, okay, if we so need it. All right, so let's do that. And I think that's the DMZ demos. So like I said, all questions are welcome. Okay, no question is my Gmail here. Okay, so it's open here. Oh, what's up? What did it say? No internet? That's strange. How can you say no internet? We have internet. Our stream is going live, so how can you say no internet? Yeah. One of those things. Let's just wait for it to come out. Okay. So it's looking as if it's now that Restream is pushing some of my stuff. Okay. Well, I'm going to move my inbox out of here just for safety reasons. Okay. And I'll pop something out when I'm ready to send the email. Okay. So let's go here to the invoice processing. Let's look at the edit. Now, so last week when I created it, I used the when email arrives. Okay. When email arrives in a box. Okay. That was the regular email trigger. All right. Or connector. But because we created a group, all right, because we created a group, how do you call it? We created a group mailbox, okay? So we needed to use the group connector. That is the difference. So today, I'll show you how to set up the group connector. And then for the purpose of the demo, I'll just go ahead and just, because we created a group inbox, we can still use the group inbox anyway, which nothing changes, about that. So if we can get this to load in time. All right, so now, so what happens is that, so now I realize that I'm using when an email arrives to a group, okay, I'm using when an email arrives to a group, this connector, all right, versus when an email arrives in a mailbox, which is a general connector for Office 365, all right. So because we created a mailbox, I should have used the group connector instead of the Office 365. That was why the email was, the attachment was not hitting, the attachment was not hitting our endpoint. So let's go ahead and do this. Let me open this up and explain what's happening. So you're going to use when a new email, okay, arrives in a group, and then remember that we created an invoice group. So it was invoice at demystifytech.net. Okay, so that's the group. Now what happens is that Microsoft treats the group as a thread. Okay, a group as like a thread, emails or threads coming in. So what's going to happen is that when that happens, okay, it's like a thread of conversations. So you need to now loop through the thread of the conversations that's coming through that group and go through the group, and each group, okay, now this is what happens. Now for each group, every mail is seen as a post. Okay, every mail is seen as a post, group post. All right, then once you are able to fish out that post, okay, once you're able to fish out that post, then you can look through the attachment, okay, any attachment on the post for each of the posts, or for, in this case, is going to be seen as the email. So the emails now are being seen as a post coming into that group thread, right? Then it's going to cycle through each of them. So for every email, if there are multiple attachments, okay, you can now cycle through attachments, and we are now using the create file from how do you call it? OneDrive. Okay, so we're creating it. So there's also something to watch out for when you're using this. Some point of it changes. Okay, you know what? We're going to work on this one, but let me walk you through this process, or how I did it, so that you don't go try it and have an issue. The only thing is that if you're going to send the email to a regular mail, a licensed mail, you can just use when an email arrives in a mailbox. That's fine. Okay, but then if you want to use a group mail like what we did, you have to use the group one. Okay, so let me first off go and show you how to go about this. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm actually going to close this and then come here and click done to tell it that, hey, I'm done. All right, and then we're going to create a new flow. So let's click on new automation cloud flow, and I'll call this one an instant flow, because let's just make it automated. Okay, so you see it. So this is just the process. I start from new. Okay, I choose automation, cloud flow, and then I want to do an automated flow. Okay, so let's do automated, and this time around I'm just going to walk you through how I arrived at that group. There's a trick there that I want to show you. So let's say invoice processing group demo. Okay, and then this time here I'll type group if you're starting from here. Okay, so you see here now there are two. Be mindful of it. You see there is the when a group member so look at this very carefully. I want you to look at the connector carefully. The group connector with the email is the one that has like a mail under it and then the group sign. Okay, so that's what we need. So when a new email arrives to a group, Office 365 group mail, so that's what we want. Okay, so you select this. It's going to be the first one, and then based on the way you've logged in, it's going to give you access to all the groups. So you can see that we have Invoice. So these are all the groups we have. In our case, the one we created was this. Okay, it was Invoice. So I'm going to select Invoice, and yeah, so that's the first one. Then now, when this happens, okay, now when this happens, like I said, you want to, loop through. Okay, so you still want to use where is that? So there you go, Office 365 group. So you want to do, there is one that says sorry, I'm using, even though I'm using the wrong one. Let me use the correct one. So let's use group. So let's actually Office 365. Okay, there you go. So you see this one here. This is the one we need to work with. Okay, Office 365 group mail, because we had a group box where the invoices were coming. Again, I repeat, if you're just using regular emails, a licensed Office 365 email, you just go ahead and use like when email Outlook. Okay, when an email hits a mailbox, and I'll show that as well. But we'll go with a group mail because that's what we created. So I'll click on this, and this one I'm just showing you how I got that set up. Okay, so in this gate, see, we're gonna do where is that? It's a get. Yeah, so there you go. Get a thread post. Okay, so we do this, and like I said, okay, so we get this is the group. The group ID is Invoice, and then the thread is, you see the conversation thread ID coming from that. And now exactly, so this is what I said. Now as soon as you say this, it's going to automatically apply the each to it. Okay, it's going to automatically apply the each apply to each to it, and then you can go through it. So now I want to get the post. All right, so here your post now will become the post ID. Okay, and almost immediately there could be multiple posts in a thread. Okay, because if it's an email coming, it treats that as a thread. So what's going to happen also is that it also automatically adds a second apply to each. Now this is where it gets tricky. All right, and you have to be mindful of this second apply to each that picks the current item. That is not what you need. This would not work. If you just go with it, this is not what you need. This won't work. All right, so we need to replace this with posts. There you go. Take note, you need to replace it with post instead of current item. So I'm going to go through all the posts, and then now in here we now have, okay, we now have the email, we have the message, and then everything. So from this point on, we can now go ahead and say, now next, as we have the post, which in this case is the email, let's find out if there are any attachments to that email. So again, I'm going to add another one, and then we can do Office 365. Again, we can do the group, this again, okay, and then there is where is that? Yep, list the attachment of a post. I thought, hold on, I think there is where is that? Oh, I just saw it. Why did I just let it vanish? So yeah, there you go. Okay, now immediately you do this again. So now we know it's Invoice. We have the thread. Okay, so the conversational thread ID, and then now we have the post ID. Okay, there you go. We can now get a list of, the attachment, and then do whatever we want to do. So this is how I set up for the other group. Okay, that is how we set up for the other group. So now I'm just going to save this and then disable this, and we can go back to the next one. Saving. So I hope this is clear. All right, so you need to go this way. Okay, let's just wait for it to save, and then I'll go back and show you. I mean, it's the same thing. If you're using, like I mentioned, if you're using a single email, then that would just be when an email. So I'll just actually, I can use this. Okay, I can just delete this. So let's delete this since we're done with it, and then we can change this. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can change it. So here, that would be Office 365. So we have Office 365 here, and then when an email out, yeah. So again, if you're using a shared mailbox, you go for this. Okay, when you're using a shared mailbox, you go for this option. All right, but if you're using just a regular, okay, you use if you're using a regular one, you can just use when a new email arrives. Okay, that's what you use. So the three things: normal licensed email, use this; a shared mailbox, use this; group, use what I just showed previously. Okay, so let's go back, and then go back to this. Since we're using group, we will be continuing with a group. So I've shown you how to set it up, whether you're using licensed email, shared mail, and in group. So that's how come I got to this. So when a new email arrives to a group, we get a thread, we apply to it, and then we get a thread post. Okay, and once we get a thread post, we try to get attachment for each of the posts. So if there's any attachment, right, all we are doing right now is we create. Remember the folder we created in the first in the first episode. What we do is that we save the attachment. Okay, we save the attachment in the in OneDrive. So if you look at OneDrive now, it's empty. We don't have any attachments in there. So I'm going to create a new. Let's see if I can do this. Can I bring this out here? Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can. Okay, I'm just going to bring this here quickly and take it back. So the recipient will be Invoice at Demystify Tech. That is what we set up. And the subject, I will say new invoice. Now, a little twist to it. You know, when we're setting up for this process, we said that we were going to use the subject as the file name. Okay, but because I'm using the group, I can actually get the direct invoice name, so I don't need to set this up. So I'm just going to use let's say new invoice from Restream. Okay, and then we'll just do FYI. Today we're not concentrating on the body of the email, we're talking about invoice attachment. So I'll click here and let's go ahead. Let's do this. I think it's on the text. I've done this again. So let's do show power invoices. At least I remember where it is. So I'm going to add the test invoice. So open. So this one just has one invoice. Okay, just to show you that it will cycle through everything. Okay, it will cycle through everything and then save them. So I've just added one invoice. So let's send. Let's minimize this. And so here, don't worry, I don't need this. So we'll probably just refresh this page, and that should kick off the flow and store it. So let's go check the flow out. So this is it. When it comes in, it will cycle through and then it will save the files. So I'm going to go back, and then we should see. Let's just refresh this just to be sure that. Oh, let's just see. Let's refresh. Let's see all runs. Let's see. Yeah, it's taking a while. I think the email is gone. Let me check this out. Let's bring this out here. Yeah. Okay, that should have gone by now. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There you go. So 12 seconds ago that run. And this is more like debugging. We need to be sure that we went through it before we continue to the next step. So if I open now, there you go. You see it? Test PDF. So it saved the invoice that was attached from the email from Gmail. So there you go. It attached this invoice. Okay. As of now, we're not doing any processing yet. All we're doing is testing that our group inbox can receive emails and can store all the PDFs. Okay. Now, let's close this. Now, just also to show you that if I send an email with multiple PDFs, it would also store the multiple PDFs. Let's go and do the same thing again. Okay, I'm going to send another one. This is, I thought I could easily okay, let's bring this here again, and then let's go to invoice at demystify tech. This subject, we'll call this multiple invoices. If I can spell multiple if I can spell multiple invoices, good. Well, it looks like I can spell multiple, right? Okay, and then we'll just do FYI sum. And then this time around, in terms of the attachment, we are going to add 12 and 13. So we're adding, in fact, let's just spice it up. So we are adding 3 invoices, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so we're adding 3 invoices to this, and then let's see, send, and let's see how. We're just checking to make sure that the very first steps we've done is working fine. So I'll come here and refresh the runs. Yeah, it takes a bit to kick in. Once it kicks in, pretty much doesn't take that much. But once we validate this, then the next step is now we can go ahead and, like I said, in this automation, this is an example automation. Okay, we will now go ahead and add the AI builder, and then bring in the module we train, extract the data, and store it in a SharePoint list. All right. You can decide to do anything you want to do with it, but I'm showing you how that is done, and you can apply to a lot of things. My friend Victram, in one of his, I'll bring him on the show. He has done something recently for extracting information from medical records. Right, so you can actually extract the data from some medical records and then process it and send it to some other third-party systems. Now, this is a very cool way of dealing with hard records or legacy records that you wouldn't have that. So you didn't have a lot of time to do manual data entry. Okay, so you can just automate this process, and that makes it easy for you. So yeah, as you can see, our flow has run. If we go back to our OneDrive, look at that, 11, 12, 13, all of it have been added to the OneDrive folder. Okay, so at least the very first part of our flow is working. So let's go ahead and delete everything, since the next step we're going to do is now to process it. So let's go here, let's hit edit. So now we are in there, we're able to process this. Now you can decide to do this in a couple of ways. You can decide to have in OneDrive, we have a folder that the files are saved in. You can decide to have one flow that just pushes them in OneDrive. Okay. And then you can have another flow that listens to files dropped in that OneDrive. And then when a file is dropped in that OneDrive, you do the processing. Any way you go, you need to just think through it, make sure what you're doing. But for the purposes of this episode or the show, we're going to do everything, once it comes in. So this is what we want to do. Okay, this is what we want to do. What we want to do is that now, after the file is created, we want to now run the AI builder module to extract the data on each file, okay, on each PDF file. and store it. That's what we want to do. So let's go ahead and click add, and then we'll do the AI builder. Okay, and then where is that? Okay, extract information from a document. Okay, so we'll do this now. Hold on, don't be tempted. There is extract information from invoice. Actually, let me just delete this. Let me delete this. Okay, let me delete this. So let's go ahead here, and then AI builder. Now, so good. This is what I'm saying. There is, let me make that red. There is extract information from invoices. Okay, and then there is extract information. There's extract information from document. Don't use extract information from invoices. Okay, this is a built-in Microsoft module. When we were building our custom module to extract information from our own customized invoice, we use the extract information from documents. So that is what you want to do. Okay, cool. So extract information from documents, and then now it would ask you to provide. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, cool. So now it would ask you to provide a model. Okay, and we drop down. In this case, do you see that DMZ invoice processor? That is our customized model we created to extract the information. So form type, it's a PDF document. Okay, we need to be specific. And then where is the form? Okay, so in this case, it's asking us, hey, where is that form? Where is the file? Okay, so now you can decide to use, because we've created the file. Let's see. We can decide to use let's see, good question. Which one should we use? Because we're not using the file name. Valid point. Well, we can decide to, because we specified that's a PDF document. Okay, we can specify the name. Okay, which is the name of the file without the extension and all that. Okay, well, let's just use the name because this is it. Okay, so that's the form. No, hold on. Actually, because we need to be specific, because if we just do file, what's going to happen is that it needs to know where the file is. So we're going to actually concatenate. Let's use the path. Hold on just a sec. Let's see this. Save. Let's save this for now. Actually, let's save this. We'll go back and test something now. This is a very cool way to check things in your flow. All right, so let's do this. Remember when we're testing our flow? What happened? Let's refresh this. Remember when we're testing our flow, we actually run it a couple of times. Okay, so I can go to the flow, the previous runs of the flow, go through it and see what's happening. Don't worry. Let's go to solutions. Sometimes these things, or better still, you know what? Let's just delete this and come here and do done. Okay, and then let's run this again. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go to the previous runs. Okay, yeah, there you go. So here we're going to go to the previous runs of the flow, and so here we can walk through everything that happened. We can walk through it. Okay, so it created the file. And then, so these are the outputs. So I can look at it. So this is, see, so the name, this is the name. The name is 11 PDF. Okay. This is the path. Okay. So you see this? This is the path. So I can say here, invoice processing 11 PDF. So I can decide to use, because this one has the path. All right. I can use the path which shows me where the file is. So let's see, let's go down and see what else we can get. So here we have the file locator that can actually, you know what, let's show the raw output. So the raw output is going to give you all the information you need. So take a look at this. So here the name is just 11 PDF, the name without extension, the path. Okay, so this is the path, and then you have the file locator. This is the file locator. Okay, cool. So one thing I also want to do is let me go ahead and look at this. Let's see the let's see. I would have to build, just a sec. Let me move this here. I would have to build okay, so I'm going to use the path. So all I'm doing is I'm just copying the path and keeping it in my scratch pad here so that I can use it. Okay, so when I say this gives me that file, so I can violate the file, and then the file locator gives me this. Okay, I'm keeping this here now. So let's go ahead, so let's use the path, and the path to give us where the file is. That's an output from. So let's go and edit this, and what we can do is just to do one, and just to be sure that that step is running, and then we can go ahead and now create the SharePoint item list. Okay, so let's go here, okay, extract, and yeah, we use the path. Okay, so let's save this. We've already saved it. Now I'm going to do, so this time around I'm just going to go ahead and do the, how do you call it, the sending of the email on another screen. I don't need to. So let's do invoice. So all I'm doing here, well, someone will say that I probably just copied it into it. So let's just say extraction test 1, and then we'll put the file there. We'll just go ahead and put the test file here. Okay, and I'll just say FYI, and then I'll send this, and then we can move this out of the way. Okay, pam 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 pam. Cool. So we've sent that. We're just waiting for it to process. There you go. So I'll just be in the folder here refreshing to wait to see if something. Okay, there you go. So it's dropped. All right. So now remember, the file will be created before the extraction happens. So let's go back to our flow. Let's go back to see if it was an error. Good. So there is an error here. So let's go here. And what does it say? Action, extract information from. Okay. So there we go. So exactly where I anticipated the problem will be coming from. So let's go. So as you can see, this happened. So it was the extraction. And what is, so we know we're looking for this model here, and this is the file. So let's go ahead, and what is it telling us? Invalid parameters, message inference input of the model, blah, 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 invalid prediction input. Okay, so yeah, which is expected. That's because we didn't provide, hold on. So we need to provide for it the full path, okay, the full path to that file, not just the output of that, okay, the output of that. But again, if you decided to create the direct for you, then you can have a byte stream of that, and then process it to PDF. So two ways: either you take the direct byte stream. So from here, let's show you this, create file. Okay, so realize that we're creating so we're using the file content. Okay, so this is the file content we're using to create the PDF file. So you can decide to take the PDF, the file content, and then reconvert it, but there's no point. You've already saved it. And that's what I'm saying, that your flow, your business flow might be different. So we are saving the file. And because we're saving the file, there will be a URL reference to that file. Okay. So here, if you open this file, okay, and then you did something like copy a link. Okay. No, let's not do that. I think we can do something else since we're learning. So if I just open this file, okay, and you copy this, someone will say that, oh, that's the URL, right? So quite long, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not it. It won't work. You can probably create a shareable link with which that we can use. So I think let's go that route. All right. So let's close this, and then let's do this. Let's bring this here. Okay. Okay, let's do this. I'll just get this information here. Let's see. So let's go. Sorry. Let me do the. So let's go back to our flow and let's go to the edit. Pum 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 pum. Let's do this. And in my case, what I want us to do is let's do this. 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 Let's see. I've seen instances where, people have actually used this to extract information from. Okay. Let's see. Let's see this. Let me do this. Let's try this. And so here, so like I said, couple of ways. Let's try this one first. I'm having a very strong feeling about this one. Okay. Where's that? Let's do this. Get attachment content byte. There you go. And then let's save this. Now, the cool thing is that I can rerun this without having to send, the whole request again. All right. So I'll just go back here and then select the one that failed, because that's the one that has the attachment. And then I'll just do resubmit. And that is because I made modification to the flow and then we're running that again. Okay. So we do this. And as you can see, it's running. You can see this is running. We've triggered the first one. It's running. What you want to see is green. What you want to see is green. Okay. It will probably just override. Yeah, there you go. Well, see, we see green. So that's good news. So apply to each. It did it. And then now extracted the information. Look at that. It did extract it. It's seeing quantity. It's extracted all that information. So look at that. Tax value. It's picked it up. Tags is picked all that up. Okay, shipping and handling. It's picked all that up. So the good thing you can do is that you can decide to now use you can decide to check the confidence level before you bring in the data. Okay, that's extremely up to you. So now if you look at this, if we go through this here, it's picking it one after the other. Okay, so it went through the whole items and it started. Okay, so this is the items. It says everything in the item there. So now see, it says that the tax value is 20. The tax data type is a string. The tax value per page is 1. And this is the tax value that where you can find it, the location. And then this is the confidence. So this is about 99%. So before you take any data and insert, you can do some score matching to say, hey, we only process this invoice if the average score for the entire invoice is between 80 to 90% or 80 to 100%. Then you can say that your module is quite accurate for us to store the data. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So we can see that we have all our data coming in, pretty nice and simple. So we can go back to edit. So this is good. So now I use the first part, which was just the file content, because the attachment has a file. I've told it's a PDF, deconstruct and use it. The second part would have been, I could also now take the path, okay, create a path, and how to do that is to create what we call a shareable link, okay. So a shareable link is one you create from within OneDrive that has permission on it, and that tells us that, hey, anybody who has this link and has the right permission can open the file. So I could have used a shareable link as the form or the path to the file, and then it will still open. Okay, so let's do this. Let's try to finish this before, and then we can try all the other ways of doing it. So there you go. So we create the file. We have a copy of the file in OneDrive, and then now we've extracted the information we have. What's the next thing? The next thing we said was to extract that data and put it in this SharePoint list. So as of now, I realize that we don't have anything in the SharePoint list. Okay, so let's go ahead. So the next thing right after this would be, I'll just do list, and then this will bring a SharePoint, and then I will say what, create an item. Okay, and then here it would ask me for the SharePoint list name and all that. So I'll go here and I'll copy the whole of this, copy this, and this sometimes will give you, so enter custom value. This sometimes will go and give you some, when you try to do it, it will tell you, give you an error, but look at it, invoice processing. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it happens. It will tell you, oh, we are unable to find the site, but you see, it's able to go down and tell me the list in that invoice. Sorry, the list in that SharePoint list, SharePoint path. Yeah. Okay, so so show advanced option. Okay, so look at this. So all the how do you call it? All the fields in that list. Here you go. Customer name, phone number, city, zip, invoice date, subtotal. All these things are showing here. Now, title is the how do you call it? It is an internal name for the customer name here, as you can see from the SharePoint list, the customer name. That title is the internal name, so it would always be title. You can go change it though, but that's not what I'm going. So here will be customer name. So let's go ahead. Where is that? So let's go. Yeah, so customer name value. All right, so put the customer name value here. The phone number, we can do, let's do phone. You can also type it here if you want to. So phone number value, and then we can come here and do city, and then we'll do the city value, and then the zip code. I don't think we got anything for this. We put anything for the zip code, so I'll just leave that one. Well, I'll just put a zip code value. If it's there, I'll pick it anyway. And then invoice number, yeah, invoice number value. Then the invoice date. We'll go ahead and pick. Okay, yeah, it's hiding behind. Sorry guys, just okay. Let me actually bring this up. It's hiding behind my. So which one is invoice date? Invoice date. Invoice date. Invoice date. Where is the invoice? Okay, so invoice date value. There you go. And then subtotal. Yeah, subtotal value. Okay, and the total due will be the total due value, and then shipping handling, that will be the shipping handling value. There's a tax, and then there's a tax value right here. Okay, cool. Now this status value, I created it as a choice option in the SharePoint list. So for now, I'll set it to pending. All right. So the whole process is that anytime that a new invoice is extracted and put there, the status will be set to pending. Okay. And then if there's any change to it, we can do a request and stuff. We can do an approval workflow. That was the whole idea. If you want me to build an approval workflow, go watch the video, hit the like, say yes, and let's see. If we have a huge number, we can go ahead and create an approval where if this invoice is approved, we want to do, a set of processes. So let's save this. Now, yeah, well, this is fine. It will just vanish after you've saved. So let's hit save. There you go. See that it's gone away. So now we've been able to, what we've done is we've been able to capture invoices attached to an email to our mailbox, a group mailbox. We've been able to cycle through it. We've been able to create the PDF, store the PDF in OneDrive. And then we've now called our custom AI builder, which we built in previous episode, to process it and extract the data, and then create a SharePoint item. Isn't that awesome? So this was the file we sent. Okay, we sent test 1. This was the file we sent. So if you look at it, let me go in a little bit. So here, look at the invoice number. Oh, undo. So these two values are going to be captured: 0070, the date 8/21/22, the customer name I think was this. This will be captured. I think the phone number will also be captured. And then the whole of this section in terms of total due and all that will be captured. Okay, so let's go and again. We can run this without sending the email. Okay, so I'll do this and then I'll send another email for you to see, and then we can cross check if that value is actually there. Okay, so let's go here. We've saved this. Let's go back, and like I said, you can easily select the last run and just rerun it again. Okay, so you can just say resubmit at the top here and click OK. It will just run it with the same thing. So because we've added more steps or actions to the flow, it will just rerun it. So once we wait for this to happen, the file will not create another file. We'll just override it. Okay, and then we will have our values put in a SharePoint list. So we want to see green. Green is always good. Red is always problems. Yeah. So yeah, this one, you have any questions? There we go. We're green. So again, I like to open this up to see how things went. We extracted the data and look at that. The SharePoint items were created. So I think I saw something like status. Okay, we just picked one. Okay, cool. So thing is, let's go to our SharePoint list. Let's refresh this and we should have data in it. Awesome. So look at this. We have data. So you see it. So while I'm drawing you, this is the number. You can see the invoice number 0070, the date, the subtotal, everything, and it's pending. Now, and then we have the file as well. So we can go look at the file name and all that, link it to this SharePoint item, and your company can do a reference of the physical, the scanned document, and then the extracted data if they want to. Okay, to show that this is not a gimmick and it's real. So I'll go. Why are you guys laughing? I'm saying the thing is real, is not a gimmick, and someone is laughing at me. Okay, so let's do this. So I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to compose. Let's make this big. This is also still going to invoice, and I'll say final test invoice. And let's go ahead, and this time around, let's bring test 1, the test 1 invoice. Okay, so test 1 invoice has been added. Hold on. Was it not the same? Hold on, guys. Hold on. Is it not the same invoice we put there? Yeah, it's still test one. Yeah, it's still test one. So we can't use test one. So let's use another invoice. Yeah. Let's use another invoice, people. So let's close this and let's use invoice number 13. Okay, let's use invoice number 13. So we go ahead and just do FYI, and then we're sending invoice number 13. So we're sending invoice number 13 for processing. And whilst we're waiting for invoice number 13 to hit our drive and be processed, let's see what, okay, let's wait for it to hit here, and then we'll see what is contained in invoice number 13. Now, when we see what's contained in invoice number 13, we can go compare it to the SharePoint item that was created after it extracted the data from the invoice. Now, think about this scenario. This is just a very basic example, right? But imagine this. This could be receipt. This could be hospital bills. This could be some legacy form. It could be an entire application process where you say, you know what, fill it up, send it to this email, we'll process it. I mean, think about it. I've seen examples that people have actually used it to process tax returns and other documentations and form. Yeah, vis-a-vis, yeah, like I said, this is assuming you have a document already, right? That you, at the moment, your invoice or form processing flow is when the form comes in, someone has to manually type the data from the form. You're not even using any iris or OCR recognition. You can use Power Platform with the AI builder to build a simple routine or workflow where you say, you know what, when an email comes with an invoice or with an application, process it. And like I said, I also brought in the OneDrive part of things. You could also say, you know what, you have a process where you scan the image or you scan the form, you scan it as PDF, and you say that as soon as you scan it, drop it in this OneDrive folder. You can create another flow that says, anytime a file is dropped in this folder, pick it and process it. Okay, there you go. So 13 is here. So let's open 13. So just to be sure of what we are seeing in 13, let me go a bit. You know what? Let me just reset this. All right, and let's use this one. Good. So 13 invoice number is 1204, right? And it's to Efo Kojo. Yeah. So we're looking out for this Efo Kojo 13. Sorry, 1204. The invoice number is 1204, and yeah. So 1204. So let's just keep this here. All right. So subtotal is 100, total due is 120. I think sales and shipping 1010, right? But then invoice number is 1204. So now let's go all the way to here. Do you see that? To Efo Kojo. This is to Efo Kojo. The numbers, look at the invoice number. You see it? 1204. Subtotal 120, total due 120. Sorry, subtotal is 100, total due is 120. Shipping and handling and tax, all that 1010. So this is how you create end-to-end a simple invoice, automated invoice processing, where as an email with an invoice attached is sent to your mailbox, you have an AI model that automatically processes the invoice, extracts all the key data you want, and stores it in SharePoint. Today is just SharePoint. It could be into a SQL database, it could be into Salesforce, it could be some other third-party database, or it could be, it could be an output or into another system. All right. This is doable with the Power Platform, leveraging on Power Automate and the AI Builder. All right. If this has been interesting and quite useful to you, and you feel like we could do this to some other system, or there's another workflow or project you want us to do, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my social handles, as you can see, like right here. And then also, please, it will help us a lot if you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that anytime I go live or release a new video, you would get it. This is where I bring you to the end of today's session. As I always leave you guys, be safe out there. Happy Labor. So yeah, happy Labor Day to all my US family tomorrow. Enjoy it. Have fun. Stay safe. But as we're doing that, let's make the world a better place through technology and touch some lives. Be kind to people and be nice. With that said, I've been Rainy, yours truly, Samuel Adrani. I'm out till I come your way again next week with another episode of the Power Series. I am out.